Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I'm going to talk about this situation out there in Seattle, Washington. Shout out Seattle, Washington, in which, let me get this number right, 10 people or more, we're just saying 10 right now, in a 37-hour period, were stabbed indiscriminately by a knife-wielding idiot out there who now police say they got in custody. What makes this story more crazy is that while the news people were out there, you know, reporting on previous stabbings, the day before, the guy winds up stabbing more people as they're there a little bit down the street. It's crazy. Look at the end of the news article, what they say they saw. Man, this is crazy. People have absolutely lost their minds. I don't know if this is mental illness or not, but either way, the cries of the public go unanswered. People don't feel safe out here. They need to change laws. They need to change punishments. Like I've been saying, take a look at this. They ain't showed this guy, but he need to be shown the flowers, regardless of the situation. Look.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news in Seattle's Chinatown International District. A mass stabbing attack with 5 victims. We have video just in from a DOT camera that shows the moment one of them was attacked and then falls to the ground. Today's violence comes after 5 other stabbings in the same area in a 24-hour time span.
Couples Jeremy Harris is live at the scene with the very latest details. Jeremy, police are now saying they do have someone in custody.
That's right. We don't know too much about that suspect other than he's being interviewed right now, and he was arrested just feet away from the scene here at 12th and Jackson in Seattle's Chinatown International District. Police just within the last few minutes took the crime scene tape down and left the scene. But what happened here today was just unbelievable. There have now been 10 people stabbed in this neighborhood since yesterday morning. 5 of those happening just here at 12th and Jackson around 1:15 this afternoon. We'll show you some video of what the scene looked like when we got here. We were up here working on a story about the 5 previous stabbings when we heard chaos. We heard police sirens, we heard yelling. We ran up the street and found multiple people had been stabbed in the intersection at 12th and Jackson. Those first responders, Seattle police, they moved so fast to help those victims. They were applying pressure to the wounds. Some of those victims had been stabbed in the back. Others looked like they'd been stabbed in the chest. It was an absolutely chaotic scene as that was all unfolding. Now, adding to this is that the fact that this was after there had been 5 people stabbed in separate attacks since yesterday morning. We know Seattle police had surged the area with patrols. We could see undercover officers going around the neighborhood, making sure things were okay. And that was before this 5-person stabbing at 12th and Jackson at around 1 o'clock. We just were able to talk with Deputy Chief Eric Barden of Seattle Police, and here's what he told us.
There's a similar description, of suspect description. The randomness of this, this is a horrific tragedy, a mass casualty event.
And right now, again, 4 of the victims who were stabbed here were transported up to Harborview Medical Center. They all survived. We don't know the extent of their injuries. The 5th person who was stabbed here was treated at the scene and then released. We know several of the previous stabbing victims were also taken up to Harborview with just horrible injuries. One person stabbed in the throat, others who'd been stabbed in the back, another victim who'd been stabbed in the chest multiple times. Are all of these stabbings from the same person? That is the big question that Seattle police are trying to answer right now. While they can't say definitively yes, they are glad they got that suspect in custody within minutes of the stabbing here this afternoon at 12th and Jackson. The fallout from this is going to be significant. People in this neighborhood have dealt with a lot over the last few years. We have reported up here, I've talked to these business owners, I know them by their first names, and they tell me they are just sick and tired of 12th and Jackson constantly being the center of chaos and violence in Seattle. The deputy chief addressed that. We've heard from the mayor a little bit, but ultimately the situation up here for these folks who live here and work here say it's unacceptable and it's unimaginable that 10 people have been stabbed in this neighborhood since yesterday morning. We're going to stay up here. We're going to stay on top of the story. We'll bring you developments as we get them this afternoon. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
Jeremy, before you go, I do want to ask you a question because obviously we know right now that there are people at Harborview Medical Center being treated, some with multiple stab wounds, some minor. some very serious. And I'm just curious if you know or not, the size of this weapon, the size of this knife potentially used in some of the stabbings done today, just to maybe get an idea as to how severe some of these victims are right now in the hospital. I'm just curious.
Well, Preston, when we got up to the scene, and I don't have a direct answer to your question, but what I can tell you is that when we got to the scene, there were multiple people who'd been stabbed and were on the ground. And of course, they're in extreme pain and they'd just been stabbed. We saw one person had a knife sticking out of their back. So we don't know if there were multiple knives that were used or what the attack weapon in every case was, but it was enough to cause major damage to these people. It was absolutely heartbreaking to sit there and watch these people who were just standing at 12th and Jackson and ended up getting stabbed. One of them still with the knife in his back, begging for help from the police. It was horrible. And but yeah, as far as if there were multiple weapons used or what type of weapon other than a knife, that's something we're still trying to get from police.
And we know you'll stay on top of it, Jeremy. Thank you. Stay with Como News throughout the day and into this evening as we get the latest details on this rash of stabbing attacks in the CID. We'll have the latest details right here on the air and online at comonews.com.
I was asked the story, and I don't know what his problem is, and I don't even care. But I think, honestly, it's time to separate the chaff from the wheat. For real. You don't want to get along? Can't get along? We get you out of here one way or another, whether it's banishment, stripping the citizenship, or isolation. Jail ain't working, prison ain't working no more. And that's just my opinion. People are constantly saying they don't feel safe. Said that's a bad area, known for crazy stuff. Can't clean it up. That's the part that I don't understand. It's like everybody out here is a bunch of feral people out here that's preying on people that they deem weak or less than. And no matter what, things are what they are. Not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. It's no fear of American punishment. It's not. Said people had knives in their backs on the ground screaming for the police to help them with a knife in their back. Did you see the video? How my man ran up? Did you see how hard he thrusted that knife? Come on. Why they ain't show his face? Multiple people ID'd him. He's the suspect. Why they ain't show his face? I don't understand all of this stuff. I don't understand it. It's like people nowadays just feel as though they can do whatever they want. And it's always something violence oriented. Innocent people. But for some reason, you make your problem everybody else's problem. Luckily, nobody died. Did you see the graph of how close within blocks these people was getting stabbed? If it ain't a gun, it's a knife. But it's always somebody else whose lives at risk because somebody can't get out of their own head and got internal issues that they explode and put on everybody else. And that's the part I don't like about this. Seriously, I mean, this stuff got to stop. I mean, they got to do something. And the thing is this. The way you want to run the country and expect people to act, right? They're not acting like that no more. So we need to change the whole dynamic of how society is. And for real, and I mean, I don't know, I don't want to mean it to sound fanatical, but I mean, stuff got to change. Babies, women, innocent people, the elderly, everybody's on the menu nowadays when predators go out and hunt for prey. Whose fault is that? Seriously, whose fault is that? We got all of these people out here that do polls and do research and how the human mind works and what people do. And don't nobody see this? Just don't need immediate attention? A lot of the way we deal with each other, interact as a society in this country is like a lot of the times the people that are coming in to the country illegally, the places they come from. A lot of times third world countries where it's little law and little order. Yeah, we got police and all of that stuff, but it's not enough. No accountability nowadays with people. No conflict resolution. Zero self-awareness. And it's like, man, nowadays, man, people are just doing whatever they want to do. And hopefully they won't get caught. And they'll go on to the next thing. This is stupid. This is dumb. That dude know better. Come on. You just picking random people. What if everybody he stabbed, he killed? And it wasn't like it was one day. It was another day. Boop, I didn't get caught that day. Let me keep going. I'm more than sure a lot of times these people that do this random stuff that goes on for a certain amount of time be watching the news to see what people are saying about them. I can guarantee you it's almost like that. But either way, man, I'm glad nobody died. But this is stupid stuff. These are adults doing this, not kids, just adults. Whatever issue you got with life, you need to take it up with yourself. Because it all starts with you before you take it out on some damn body else. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. The reason stuff like this make me mad is it could be somebody I know, a family member I know, family member you know that's minding their business, and here they come getting stabbed in the back, literally. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.